Hello and welcome everyone. The topic for today is probity. We have taken in GS4 probity today especially because we have finished honesty, integrity, attitude, aptitude, transparency, accountability, and even if I ask you what is the meaning of probity in one line, you may not be able to answer me clearly. So, okay. So, probity is especially important because as I told you that GS4 is not there in prelims, it is there only in mains. It becomes further more important that you devote the minimum possible time and get maximum possible return on your invested time and attention. And therefore, let us look at probity in governance in a very clear fashion. If I ask you what is the difference between honesty and probity, then you may not be able to answer me, but by the end of the class, of course, you will be able to answer this. If I tell you, let me write this down. If I tell you that most of the officers in India are honest, but the administration is mired in corruption and similar issues. So, officers are honest, but the administration system does not seem very honest. So, majority officers honest, administration not so honest. What is the reason? The reason is this probity. In short, honesty is individual's quality. Probity is administration or collective or governance issue. So, if the individual is honest, but the system is not so honest, then we can't see much progress. So, honesty at the systemic level is probity. Honesty at the systems level is probity. Honesty at the systems level, at the administration level is probity. Operationalization of honesty at the systems level is probity. If I am an honest officer, if my office deals in an honest manner, then we can say that there is probity in my office. And as I already told you that the honest officer, dishonest system is the plague we are suffering from today. So, let us take it up with an example, probity. DM has to procure certain goods, procurement. The procurement can be done in two manners. He knows that there is some person who is honest person, and he is supplying. And the second method is an open tender, standard operating procedure, and then this. This one is honesty, this is honesty, this is honesty, this is probity. let's say the DM resigns or he gets transferred. So, this standard operating procedure, open tender, the documents, they are going to survive after the resignation or transfer of the DM. So, this practice of honesty at the systems level, at the administration level is probity. If this honesty is documented, the legality is followed, the process is followed, that honesty is probity. So, that is the fundamental difference. At the all India level, we have something called GM portal, Government e-Marketplace. Government e-Marketplace is basically the Amazon for the government or Flipkart for the government, Amazon for the government of India or different departments or the state. Here, the connections of the suppliers of the material and the services do not matter so much. What matters is the audit trail, the digital records. So, government e-Marketplace improves probity in the system, improves probity in the system. Now, let's look at some of the ethical values. Ethical values, like, as I said, honesty, integrity, transparency, accountability, or let us say compassion. Let us add one more value, compassion. Compassion. So, honesty is an individual value, integrity is also an individual value, transparency is both individual as well as collective or system or administration, accountability individual plus system, compassion is individual value. So, these values are operationalized when operationalized in the right manner for the administration, that becomes probity. Honesty, I speak truth. I speak truth. So, the administrator is saying, the DM Saab is saying that I have chosen the right person for the job, but I have not followed the due diligence, I have not followed the process, then that honesty is of no use. So, if honesty is backed by the documents, rules, SOPs, then it is probity. Integrity, we have seen the short definition of integrity: what I think, what I say and what I do. If these three are same, then it is integrity. So, the DM Saab has done the right thing in his own mind, but he has not followed the documents, rules, SOP, legality, then it cannot be called probity. Same is the case with integrity. Transparency. Transparency and accountability go hand in hand. Right to Information Act, disclosures, that is transparency. So, this can be called probity at the systems level. Accountability, who is responsible? Account books, budgetary documents at the local level, at the office level, budgetary documents. Compassion. I feel the pain of another person and allocate certain resources out of the exchequer. I may even be penalized for that. I may be jailed for that. If I do not use my discretion, if I do not use my discretion in a documented manner. Documentation, proper documentation. This is probity. So, providing an audit trail, and let me give you a hack, a trick. The etymology, that is the origin of the word, is not always important, but we have seen that it's sometimes extremely helpful. Probity, if you look at the origin of the word, it is related to probe or prove. So, the DM Saab is honest, but when the CAG, when the media, when the civil society, when the court intervenes, will DM Saab be able to prove that he is honest? If he is able to prove that he is honest with the help of the paper trail, the digital documentation, then the office of the DM is following probity. So, this is the key idea which you can remember. Apart from honesty at the systems level is probity, and the second is prove or probe. कि जांच पड़ताल होगी तो क्या होगा. So, this was about probity, and yes, we will come to that. To drive home the point, honest officer plus no probity or unethical office or system. So, just we can keep it short: honest officer plus dishonest system, bad governance. Average officer plus ethical administration, good governance. Ethical administration, operationalization of honesty at the system level, that is ethical administration is one having probity, good governance. So, just remember these things, this will be quite helpful. And the second ARC, report is extremely important even today, because the UPSC lifts phrases, terms, even full sentences directly from the report. You don't need to read the whole report, of course, you can just read the summary. Phrases, terms and sentences directly lifted. So, what second ARC has to say about probity? It clearly mentions probity. Probity ensures transparency, accountability, integrity. To operationalize these three, we need probity in the office. And the methods which have been suggested by ARC is codes of ethics, codes of conduct for the officers, holiday services, center services, whistleblower protection, we operationalize transparency, accountability and integrity through probity, and the methods suggested by the second ARC are these. So, this is about probity. If you go further into details and look at few questions, let us look at few questions. India has no shortage of honest officers, then why does corruption survive as scandals recur and public trust remain fragile? Because of lack of probity. What do you understand by probity in governance? How is it different from integrity? Integrity is largely a personal virtue. When you are able to prove your integrity on being probed, then probity is there. If you are not able to prove your integrity despite you being a person of integrity, then probity is not there. Operationalization of integrity at the system level, at the administration level, and you being able to prove your integrity, then it is probity. We have seen the answer. In the context of public service, discuss the relevance of transparency and accountability. This question is again, when you understand probity, half of the ethics theory questions are easy to handle. This is operationalization of transparency and accountability, and that is probity. Explain the concept of probity in public life with suitable example. We have taken the example of local tendering by the DM at the local level in two manners. One, by his known person, honest, and the second method is open tender, following the rule of law, following the procedures. The second method is one where probity prevails, and we had taken another example at the national and the state level, which is government marketplace, GEM. Accountability is the cornerstone of ethical governance. Yes. How do you ensure accountability? You ensure accountability at the systemic level through operationalization of accountability. And how do you operationalize? Through probity. So, these are the interlinkages between these questions, and we have started from the very basics and then moving on. The nature of the questions are changing slightly, and they are interrelated concepts. I hope this will help you. Thank you.